Imagine a man who looked charming, intelligent, and trustworthy. A man who could smile, talk politely, and win people's confidence within minutes. But behind that charming face was one of the most terrifying serial killers in American history. He pretended to be injured, asked young women for help, and within moments, their lives would end in unimaginable horror. For years, police had no idea who he was, until one name shocked the entire nation: Tandy. Today we will uncover the dark story of Ted Bundy, his childhood, the psychology behind his crimes, how he hunted his victims, how police finally caught him, and the terrifying end of one of the most notorious serial killers in history. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, because here we reveal the darkest true crime stories from around the world. Introduction. Ted Bundy was one of the most infamous serial killers in the history of the United States. Born in 1946, Bundy appeared to be intelligent, educated, and even charming. He studied law, worked in politics, and had a normal social life. But behind that normal image was a man responsible for the brutal murder of dozens of young women. Authorities believe Bundy murdered at least 30 women, though some investigators suspect the number may be much higher. His crimes shocked America during the 1970s and forever changed the way police investigated serial killers. Early life and childhood. Ted Bundy was born on November 24, 1946, in Burlington, Vermont. His birth itself was surrounded by mystery. Bundy grew up believing that his grandparents were actually his parents, and that his biological mother was his sister. This confusing family structure deeply affected his psychological development. Some reports suggest his grandfather was violent and abusive. From a young age, Bundy showed unusual behavior. He became fascinated with violent crime stories and disturbing images. Psychologists later believed these early influences may have shaped his violent fantasies. Psychological factors behind his crimes. Experts believe several factors contributed to Bundy's transformation into a serial killer. One major factor was rejection and emotional instability. During his college years, Bundy fell deeply in love with a woman from a wealthy background. When she rejected him, it reportedly created intense anger and humiliation. Many analysts believe Bundy later targeted women who resembled her. Another factor was his growing obsession with violent fantasies. These fantasies eventually turned into real crimes. Modus operandi haukiuju. Bundy had a very calculated method. He usually targeted young college women with long dark hair. His trick was simple but terrifying. He pretended to be injured. Sometimes he wore a fake arm cast or used crutches. He would ask women for help carrying books or loading items into his car. Because he looked harmless and polite, many women trusted him. But the moment they approached his car, Bundy would attack. Murder method and weapons. Bundy often used blunt objects, such as metal bars or wooden clubs, to knock his victims unconscious. After kidnapping them, he would take them to isolated locations. Many victims were then brutally assaulted and murdered. Investigators later discovered that Bundy often revisited crime scenes. This disturbing behavior shocked even experienced detectives. Bundy's victims, were mostly young college students in their late teens and early 20s. His crimes occurred across several states, including Washington, Oregon, Utah, Colorado, Florida, Many victims disappeared without witnesses, which made the investigation extremely difficult. For years, police struggled to identify the killer. Police investigation. During the early 1970s, multiple police departments noticed a disturbing pattern. Young women were disappearing from college campuses. Witnesses reported seeing a handsome man named Ted asking for help before the disappearances. The suspect also drove a Volkswagen Beetle. These clues slowly began to connect the crimes. Eventually, investigators started focusing on one man, Ted Bundy. First arrest. In 1975, Bundy was finally arrested in Utah. Police officers stopped his car late at night and found suspicious items including handcuffs, a crowbar, a mask. Bundy was initially arrested for attempted kidnapping, but as investigators dug deeper, they discovered evidence linking him to multiple murders. Dramatic courtroom trial. Bundy's trial became one of the most famous trials in American history. He shocked everyone by choosing to act as his own lawyer. The trial was even televised, which was extremely rare at the time. Bundy used his intelligence and charm in the courtroom, trying to manipulate the legal system. But the evidence against him was overwhelming. In an unbelievable twist, Bundy managed to escape from prison twice. During one escape, he jumped out of a courthouse window. Later, he escaped again from jail in Colorado and fled across the country. This escape allowed him to commit more horrific crimes. Final crimes in Florida. After escaping prison, Bundy traveled to Florida. In 1978, he carried out one of his most brutal attacks at a university sorority house. Several young women were violently attacked. This shocking event finally intensified the nationwide hunt for Bundy. Final capturi. Just weeks later, police stopped Bundy for suspicious driving. This time, investigators quickly confirmed his identity. The long search for Ted Bundy was finally over. Trial and death sentence. Bundy was tried in Florida for multiple murders. The courtroom heard horrifying details about his crimes. The jury found him guilty of murder. He was sentenced to death by electric chair. Ted Bundy's end. After years on death row, Ted Bundy was executed on January 24, 1989. Outside the prison, crowds gathered celebrating the end of one of America's most terrifying killers. But the scars left by his crimes remain forever. Many families never fully recovered from their loss. The story of Ted Bundy reminds us that evil does not always look frightening. Sometimes it hides behind intelligence, charm, and a friendly smile. His crimes changed the way police investigate serial killers and how society understands criminal psychology. Ted Bundy remains one of the darkest figures in true crime history. If you found this story shocking and informative, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. On this channel, we explore the darkest criminal cases, mysterious crimes, and real stories that changed history. And remember, sometimes the most dangerous monsters look just like ordinary people.